Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. I'm your host, Chase Steele Greye, with the man himself, Cyril Kiton from Haiti. We are so happy that you're here today. We have a spectacular conversation. I'm very, very excited to have a great friend of many years with us today. You're going to meet her shortly. But before we do, I'm going to start out with a little bit of a statement, something that I just picked up a couple days ago, and I want to paraphrase it, but it's just a one sentence, and the sentence is: flexible people are, or blessed are the flexible, because they cannot be bent in a different direction. Roll that tape. Yes, indeed. Welcome once again. Chase Steele Greye with Cyril Kiton, and it is a magnificent day. Man, life is so interesting how we get challenged on mornings like this, but we made it. We're here, and before we get into our great conversation with Miss Jay Jiggins, I'm going to check the temperature in the room, speak to a couple of people, and just see what's going on. I'm going to start out with Stan the man today. Stan, how are you? And who will you hug today?
Sorry, brother. Sorry, I was on. Couldn't get out of mute there for a moment. I am blessed
Great.
because I am what I say I am. But one's even greater than me said that I am blessed, and I accept that. I am blessed, and I'm gonna hug my beautiful wife today. I'm gonna hug her. I'm gonna give her a special hug. Special hug.
Nice. I love it. Let's see. Let's go with Andrea. How are you? Andrea, where are you? And what are you grateful for today?
I am where I need to be, which is right here. And I'm grateful for the sun. Today the sun is out. So grateful for that.
Grateful for the sun. Can't argue with that. Wonderful to see you again. Thank you so much for participating, as always. So let's get right into it. I'm going to ask my wonderful friend Cyril, if you would, find sir, to please give us this beautiful bio of my great friend Jay Jiggins, and give us that question.
To introduce Jay Jiggins. He keeps calling you JJ. What's with that?
Yeah, because it's
Jay Jiggins. Come on.
Oh, Jay Jiggins. Okay. Oh, I got it. May I call you JJ too?
You can. Go ahead.
So, friends, I have the honor of introducing Jay Jiggins. She was born in London, UK, and raised in an entrepreneurial family. She has, however, resided in Miami, Florida for over 20 years. Began her early career in entertainment and transitioned to fitness and her own entrepreneurial journey in her early 20s. That was just 2 days ago.
Very sweet.
She's owned and operated gyms and led the way in fitness for over 2 years. No, 20 years. She also has a significant background in hospitality and real estate industry. The synergy led her to create her current company, Finesse Corporate Wellness. FCW offers on-site employee fitness and wellness programs, team building events and retreats, and resort programming for hotels and luxury residences. Her passion for inspiring people and being a part of the magic that enables people and business to thrive is what fuels her. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the owner and president of Finesse Corporate Wellness, and she's sinking her teeth in a question with us called, How important is good posture to our health, and what can we do to improve it? So if you're slouching right now,
yes, yes, indeed. Let's give it up for Jay Jiggins. Listen, thank you for that wonderful introduction. And I have to say, just to give you a little backstory, that Jay Jiggins and I met on my first professional job as a singer. Jay was a dancer, I was a singer, and that's where we met. And we've been friends ever since then. I think it was, man, what was that, Jay? 93?
Yeah, maybe.
94, 93, 94.
Yeah.
And I'm just so proud of you and everything that you've done. Our friendship has always been rock solid the entire time. I'm blessed to have you in my life. I'm so respectful of your trajectory, of all the things that you've been able to do. All the, we didn't speak for a while. Babies were had. Well, I didn't have any babies, but I'm sorry. you babies were had. And I just think you're a phenomenal person. I thought I have to bring Jay on the show. So welcome, and thank you so much for being here. When we speak about this question, and I'm going to say something to you that you probably heard before. When we speak about posture, in all the years of my personal development, which I'm everyday personal development, books, audios, every day. I just finished something right before I got on this. Posture not only is the physicality of posture, but posture, how you walk into a room, how you prepare yourself when people see you, like, oh, that guy's got posture. Like, some people walk in the room, you're like, who is that? That kind of posture. So I just want you to unpack this question from your perspective, and let's see where we can go with it.
Sure. I mean, the question is, how important is posture, I guess, and what can we do to improve it? And I personally think posture, just like you just said, is so important. It may be the foundation of where we should start when we're looking at our health and wellness in general, really. I mean, firstly, let's take the fact that most of us in the world today are suffering with back pain and neck pain. And it's easy. If we just put a little effort into our posture, we can correct a lot of that pain. So take away the pain. And then there is the fact, what you just mentioned, that posture can really change the way people evaluate you. Like you said, when you walk into a room, and not only the way people evaluate you, but how you evaluate yourself. When you stand in the morning and are looking in the mirror and are perfectly upright, that really changes, I think, the whole trajectory of your day. So I think there's the confidence factor, which is massive. I think there is the opinion that you give to others by walking into a room with great posture. And then, of course, there is the fact, simple things like you'll have no pain if you have good posture, and your breathing. Even our breathing is impacted when our lungs are deflated. And then, of course, I mean, we've all seen it. When you walk down the street and you see an older person and it's heartbreaking, and they're hunched over and they're barely able to walk, and you can physically see the pain that they are in, that's massive. So I think it really is something that we all should be taking into consideration way earlier in the from the birth. If we're having children, as you mentioned, I had children 10 years ago almost. Right from there, you got to start looking at it right away and try to model that great habit and make sure they have great posture from the beginning, because if they do, they'll maintain it. But it's much harder to correct as we get older.
It's very, very true. And again, I have to give you your accolades. I'm not just saying this, but I remember being on the ship with you. I remember we did these shows. We were always having fun. We were goofing off with our friends, so on and so forth. And you always had a great posture about you. I never saw you slouching. I never saw you hunched over. And maybe it was because of your dance background and your kind of upright torso that you learned from those particular things. Because I learned, you and I were both in dance, when we were younger. And I say this to my vocal students now, like when they're singing and they're like this, and then they're like this, looking at their lyrics. I'm like, what's happening right now? They're like, what? I'm like, what? You see what you're doing? You're going, la. You're closing your throat up because your posture's wrong. And they're like, oh, I totally forgot. Well, learn the words and then you'll be right here. So now in your personal or in your professional life, do you think that now you have this kind of thing where your posture is set and you don't think about it anymore? Are you constantly reworking it based on how you're dressed, who you're speaking to, so on and so forth?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think I am blessed. Like you mentioned, in our youth, we were very physical. I was a dancer, that helps. I think even the fact that I come from an entrepreneurial family helps. Someone that is consistently trying to get ahead, as we are as entrepreneurs. You're always hustling. You kind of always got your shoulders back because you're fighting the world head on. I think seeing that modeling is important. But as we get older, nature will happen to the best of us. We're going to find, that if we are not working it, those muscles in your shoulders, those muscles in your back are going to start to weaken if you're not strengthening and stretching them on a daily basis. So I take my exercise routine very seriously and I continue to exercise. So no, I don't think I'm suffering for it, but don't think for 1 minute I am not aware that nature is trying to grab me at any moment if I don't take it into my hands. So yeah, it's something I think about. I think also the world we live in today, Chase, I mean, we are on our phones, we are on our computers. It doesn't matter what profession you're in. We are not doing what we used to do 40 years ago as far as standing up straight. We just can't help it because we are obsessed with these things, these devices, which naturally take us into a position of hunch. So we've got to take the time to combat that. And now we have to really focus on it. Because as I say, even the best of us are in positions we shouldn't be. We need to set up our desks to be ergonomically friendly and really take into consideration what we're doing and look at our positions that we're doing it in. So.
I'm going to ask you 2 quick rapid questions before I open up the floor to other people. I have to blow you up with this because I'm so proud of you. Recently, when you spent time with Sir Richard Branson, the Sir, when you were with him, someone of that stature who's accomplished so much, did you notice his posture? How did he feel when you were in front of him? I know he's a lax guy, he's fun, he's easygoing, but what did you notice about his posture when you were with him? You were with him for how long? A week or?
A week, 6 days.
A week.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me tell you, the man is a man to be reckoned with in so many ways. And I hold him in very high esteem. And that goes for physically too. He's no joke. He does not play. This guy, as you say, very relaxed. He is kite surfing every day. He is biking. I biked with him up a mountain. I am not kidding you. I am more than 30 years or about 30 years. He's junior. The guy has me whipped and I work out.
Yeah, he's serious. Yeah.
He is serious. So he takes his exercise serious, but what he does and what I advise to anyone is he really makes exercise play. He is playing tennis daily for hours. He's kite surfing. He's biking up sides of mountains. He really makes it fun. Now, don't get me wrong. When you have that kind of money and you're that achieved in your life, of course, you have more time than the average person to dedicate if you so desire. But he's an early riser. He gets up very early in the morning and he is at it, biking up sides of mountains and playing tennis and doing all these fun physical activities. But of course, that affects your posture. He has his shoulders back. The man is 72. And I'm telling you, he is in crazy shape. Crazy shape. And I'm not he's not weightlifting. He's not sitting there doing ab exercises all day. He's doing stuff that he enjoys, but is very physical, and it shows. He has great posture.
I knew you would say that. I just wanted to make sure, first and foremost, that everyone knew you were with Richard Branson for a week. And then we'll talk about that on another one because I want to have you back. Lastly, before we get into questions, you have children. Do you believe that based on what we're talking about, physically, mentally, psychologically, at this age, you are seeing some remnants of what your children see in you as posture? Can you look at them and say, wow, she's already doing this, or wow, she's doing that? And 100%. Do you do? I figured you said you would. And that posture thing starts early, really early, by them watching what's going on around them. So you would say yes. Absolutely.
Yes, I do. I mean, so far I'm blessed. My kids are about to turn 10 and 6, and they're still very young, but they both have beautiful posture. They stand upright. Obviously I like them to exercise. We're very physical as a family. The little one's in gymnastics. The older one is an amazing singer. I'd love you to work with her, Chase. She's great.
My gosh, I can't wait. I haven't met them. I'm so excited.
Yeah, you'd love her. But they have great posture. I do think modeling is huge. And of course, if I did see a slight little bit of it, I would be picking them up and making sure their shoulders back. So far, I do not have to dedicate too many of my words to telling them about posture. They seem to have it naturally. But the minute I started to see those shoulders curve, they'll be being pulled back, let me tell you.
Right, right. So we're going to get into some questions. And I realized that when we were younger and our parents say, you do as I tell you to do, not as I do. And then when you get older, you realize you did as they did. You saw
Yes.
them do things, and now you're an adult. So that was a convoluted statement that they said. It's crazy. Anyhow, that's where we are right now. And thank you for those answers. If there are any questions,
Jay,
please raise your
I have
hand.
a question.
There you
Sure.
go, my man, my man.
So a series of just primers for the average Sorrel. So what is bad posture and what does it look like?
Okay.
How does it impact me at the skeletal and muscular level?
Sure.
And what is good posture? And how can I maintain it over time? And what would be the benefit of switching? I think I heard all of that, but I'm thinking, break it down for me, please. What is bad posture? Because some bad posture kind of feels comfortable after a while.
You bring up some really good points, Sorrel. Firstly, what is bad posture? Well, it's very dependent on the person. Posture changes from one to the other, but some of the things you could be looking for, of course, is rounding of the shoulders, where your shoulders are coming forward and there's a hump in your back. That's one. The other is to do with your head. It can be either too far forward, where your chin is jutting out, or your chin is pulled back and your shoulders are coming forward. So where your head is placed, one of the things I like to do or say to clients to do is to stand against a wall, get the base of your head against that wall, and then feel your shoulder, the backs of your shoulder blades touching the wall, and then your hips will be touching the wall. And there will be a slight gap in your lower back. That's natural in our spine. That is good posture. However, if there's a huge gap in your spine and you're feeling like there's a lot of space between your lower back and the wall, then you need to slightly tilt your pelvis until you get into good posture. So tilting your pelvis forward, pulling your abdominal in and flattening out that lower back, and then putting your hand, usually your right hand, onto your rib cage and just pulling that rib cage in slightly so that you feel the top of your back connecting with the wall. That's good posture. When all of that back panel is touching the wall with the exception of the lower back, you're in good posture. And it will feel very weird if you've been in bad posture for a long time.
Yeah.
But that's a great way of knowing where your posture should be.
So that gives us a sense of how to achieve it at least once, right?
Exactly.
Now,
exactly.
once you've achieved that at least once, how do you practice going forward? And how does it become like muscle memory?
Sure. There's a couple of things. There's the cheat, I'm going to say, way, but it's not cheating. There is something called a back posture corrector. It's like a brace. You can buy it on Amazon or anywhere. You buy it and it will pull you back into that posture, and it will physically remind your body of where your body is supposed to be. So with people with very bad posture, I advise it. However, there's a con to that. It can weaken your muscles because now you're not holding yourself up. The brace is. So I do advise, if people are going to use a posture corrector, which isn't a bad idea, to at least get you feeling it, you have to combine that with some exercises. And they're pretty simple. You can do it 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night, and it will make a major impact on you. But you do need to be consistent if you're going to do something like a back posture corrector.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, good posture is not natural. It is something that you generate for yourself because it feels like exercise, literally.
Well, this is why I say so much about the modeling. Good posture is natural, or it is meant to be natural, but we get into these bad habits very early on, and then the habit that we create becomes the formation of our body, and then the good posture is no longer natural. So it starts early. And like anything, if you keep doing something, our body is moldable, right? We can literally physically change it by the positions we put it in time after time after time, and it will happen. So the same thing applies. You'll create bad posture that then becomes your natural position, and you can undo that and make good posture become your natural position. But everything takes effort, time, and consistency.
So up against the wall, head back, shoulders back, butt back, little gap in the lower back. That's good posture.
Yes. And then I'll give you some really simple tricks to do every day that I really like for posture. when you're in that position, if you stand with your back against the wall, put both elbows against the wall, hold them there. And then from there, keeping your wrist, I'm going to try and get you to see my wrist, keeping your wrist, wrist against the wall. You're going to raise that wrist up and down, keeping your elbow and your wrist as much as you can. As long as you keep the wrist and the elbow against the wall, raise as much as you can till it starts to come off and come down. And every day that will get a little bit longer, that lengthening of the arm will get longer, and that will train your muscles to create that pulling back of the shoulders, which is often the case. It rolls forward. So
thank you, Jay, for that. Wonderful.
Okay.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I don't see any
Ronald.
other questions. Are there any more questions?
Ronald, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
This is
Go ahead.
great. I've struggled with posters, and yes, this really created the problem of posters. I was just looking at your picture, Jay, and your involvement with Richards and so forth, and I was like, whoa, she's really a guru into the world of having to work with such big personality. Is your work focus in getting, I guess the question would be, and I think that's a question that Chase was gonna go in there a little bit. Does your work really lead you to having such a big client, and how does that evolve? How did you, we all as entrepreneur would like to get great client like this. How's that work for you?
We work mostly business to business as a company, and we're trying to work on a large scale. I'd like to impact as many people as possible. And to me, honestly, it's not important to me whether it's my next door neighbor I'm helping or someone that has $10 trillion. Really, for me, the focus is if you have an issue physically with your health, mental wellness, any of those, and I or my company can be of assistance, I want to be of assistance. So that's really where my focus is personally. And I believe with anything in business, if you just do great work, authentically trying to help and coming from a service standpoint, you'll do great. And if that means you attract wonderful clients, you'll attract wonderful clients. But a wonderful client to me, as I say, is someone that is seeking help, that is open to help. I am able to help. So that's and we're blessed.
Great.
We're blessed as a company. So
Thank you. Great.
Excellent.
Thank you, Ronald. Gio, go ahead, and then we'll take CC last.
Geo is not.
Yeah, I'm right here. I was just
Oh.
switching screens. Thank you for being here, Jay. I wanted to ask you the question that Chase did not want to ask, but I do want to ask. I don't know if you can summarize it in 1 minute or so, but why were you at Richard's place at Island? Why were you there? What was the whole thing about? How did you get there? And I want to go. Can you take me?
Yes, I may be able to take my number. I was on an entrepreneurial retreat, and the idea is I've had a crush on the Virgin brand for as long as I can remember. Being in business, I noticed very early on that, their tone of voice as a company is exceptional. They have stayed very true to who they are, kind of quirky, out the box. They're risky. They do unique things. And I've just been in love with the brand for years. This was an entrepreneurial retreat. I was a speaker for the Goldman Sachs company many months ago. And there I was put in contact with this entrepreneurial retreat that was being done on the island of Richard Branson's and involving Richard. And then you have to send your bio off and send, some details. And then I was picked as one of the people that was able to go. And now I am creating retreats directly myself with Richard Branson that we will be doing in 2024 that will involve a lot of wellness, a lot of team building, but it really will be an entrepreneurial journey, or anyone that wants to get ahead to learn from him and many speakers that we are bringing in. So if you are interested and would like to go, there is an opportunity. There is an opportunity. So you can reach out.
So I want to stay in touch with that conversation and with you if you give me permission.
Of course, I would love to. I would love to.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
For a small fee, Gio? I'll give you her email address.
Thanks, Gio, for asking my question a little bit better.
I'll take the fee. I'll take the fee.
Cece, go ahead and wrap it up.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I had a question. Is it too late to ever correct your posture if you're past 60 or something like that?
It is not too late. It's a great question. In fact, I was about 5 or 6 years ago, we started to work with a client. She was 86 years old at the time. And not to be crude, but the reason she actually employed us was she was having trouble wiping her own butt and did not want help. Very strong, powerful lady. Yeah. And we are successful today and can tell you that she can, as well as many other feats in the kitchen, like reaching for things in the kitchen, etc. So it is never too late, but it does take commitment. It is something that when we're standing badly for 12, 14, 15 hours of a day doing something badly, our body is taking in that messaging and creating that bad posture. So if you want to undo it, we're asking for a lot of mental strength to keep correcting yourself and to be doing exercises several times a day. But we can get you there with dedication. It is never too late. You'll start to make immediate changes, and over time you can completely correct it.
Excellent. Really, really excellent.
All right, Chase.
It's the time, man. The
Hey,
time
that's
comes
normal.
so quickly, so quickly. Anyway, Jay will be back again. Before we leave, we're going to leave with our tenets that we love to just spread out into the ether before we leave them. Take them with your day, with you in your day. First of all, is to laugh out loud, live out loud. Definitely make sure to move your body as much as possible, as Jay was saying, with those different things that we're going to learn all about. Be sure to give of yourself, give of your time, give of your things, your resources, so others can reap the benefits of it. Eat mostly plant-based. It's great for your body. It's great for your system. And of course, in keeping with everything we said, we'll just gel together to make you the super person that you already are, but bring you to a higher level. Also, sleep. Man, at least 6 to 8 hours, more if you can. It changes everything. Of course it does. And lastly, check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much, Jay Jiggins. Thank you, Sorel Quiton, and everyone who was with us today. We appreciate you. We're here 5 days a week. Please come back and join us. We would love to have you, and be completely you today. Make it happen. Have a great one.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Call me Chase. Bye. CC.
One love, guys. One love.